time, and then I went through various stages of SVA until my position here just now. I'm also a PhD student here at the University of Glasgow. What I'm going to talk about now is the relationship that SVA has since developed with Xchange Scotland, which is really only beginning this year, although there was a few things we did last year, plus the relationship with Glasgow College, which is just described. I'm just going to try and put all these things into context so that you can kind of see how they fit with the sort of main idea of SVA, which is obviously you applying, being selected, and going away to do international development projects overseas. So the reason that I wanted to come here and talk today, and the reason that I am still involved in SVA, is because I learned so much from this experience. I went away in 2007 and I worked in Malawi with SVA. I went back in 2008 and 2009 and I led the teams, the SVA teams there, I acted as coordinator. In 2009 I also undertook research for my undergraduate dissertation in sociology in the community that I'd been working with SVA, which was an excellent opportunity to do well in dissertation. I then served as Vice President for SVA and I went back to Malawi, which is where my real sort of inspiration came from when I did my master's degree, and I went right out there with another organisation. I learned so much from this experience, yet it's only recently that I managed to sort of articulate what I learned, and that's something that Xchange are really coming in to work with SVA on this year. It's about volunteers going away, learning a lot of things, getting a lot of skills, but just also helping you guys, if you do go away, being able to articulate what you've actually learned. So essentially, this whole premise comes from the idea that there's a number of people going on international volunteering experiences throughout Scotland and throughout the Western world. And yet, they're learning a lot of skills, but as I said, they're not being able to articulate them, or they don't quite know and grasp what they've learned. So when you're doing fundraising for going away, you're learning business skills. You're learning teamwork skills when you're working in your teams before you go and when you're there. You're learning leadership skills, and whether that's leading from the front or leading as part of that team. You're learning communication skills. That's both working with your peers before you go and when you're there, but also in communicating with people from different cultures, which is a really important thing to go into the world of work. This also gives you the skills to stand out in interviews. So for example, if someone asks you a question about what skills you have, then you can come back because you've been on this SVA experience and say, I'm a good communicator. And they'll say, why are you a good communicator? And you can say, because I managed to negotiate with the director of a non-governmental organisation in Malawi about how we're going to operate the programme which we're volunteering on. Wow, you know, from then you stand out in an interview, and once you leave that, then people will remember you. You're the guy or you're the girl who talked about your experience in a faraway country and you managed to communicate across that boundary. But the point is that until now, there's been very little capture of those skills and there's been very little accreditation. So Glasgow College and what Ailey's just described is how we're going to accredit these skills which you've got. And the work that Xchange Scotland is going to be doing with SVA is about that capture, and we will do that through the training that we run with SVA this year. I should probably tell you about Xchange Scotland because I've not quite got into who we are. So Xchange Scotland are another professional international volunteering organisation also based in Glasgow. And initially this partnership came through to professionalise how SVA works and to make sure that all the young people and the students who are going away with SVA are getting the most and giving the most in their experience. Xchange are part of two large international volunteering networks, which is the CCIBS and the Alliance. So therefore they have the most connections throughout the world in international volunteering. Both of these large networks have existed for more than 50 years. So we're drawing from this experience, and this has been articulated by Xchange and given to SVA to ensure that you get the most and you give the most in your work. This year specifically, we are working with SVA on 2 of their projects. As you'll see just after, there was 4 SVA projects this year, and 2 of them, the one in Kenya and the one in Indonesia specifically, are working with our partners from these large networks which are described. In return, Xchange are offering training to support the SVA volunteers. So this partnership is essentially about making SVA stronger and the strongest student volunteering organisation around the university, but also in Scotland, because actually, as Ailey's already described, you guys, if you are selected and if you do want to go on an SVA project and choose to do this up to HNC level qualification, then you will be the first people to get credited for this sort of work. So this is really in terms of your experience, making sure you get the most, and as I said, most fundamentally, how you can use the skills that you already have to benefit the communities all around the world. That's what I end with a cheesy line, which I hope isn't too cheesy, but I do really, really mean it. It's that Glasgow University are now having big banners, we've seen them on University Avenue, that they welcome world changers. And this is the opportunity to add that sort of international depth to your university experience, but also to make meaningful change for communities all around the world. I'll be here at the end if anyone's got any more questions.